Alright, hey there folks, and welcome back to another commentary of GT Online. This time, yes, I will actually be focusing on the interior death matches. And now, I've actually had a bit of trouble with this one because I wasn't actually sure what interiors to use and that, but after some time I just figured, you know what, fuck it, and I'll just go with some of the more popular ones. Which starting off will be none other than Biohazard Outbreak. Yeah, this one again holds a bit of a special place in that because, yeah, if you're wondering about the name, yeah, it's a Japanese name for Resident Evil, and I don't know, I don't know why I found the name kind of catchy, but I figured in a kind of like science lab gone wrong kind of area, I figured it was kind of like, I mean, alright, if you think about it in perspective, this doesn't make any sense because it gives you the idea like you're kind of exterminating monsters in the world, zombies or something like that, even though the opposite team will be thinking the same thing. And so yeah, it's a bit of a daft thing, but at the same time in that, it's actually it's actually a fairly well done death match. You know, you would be surprised, but yeah, this death match was actually what I would say is pretty damn well balanced for the tier death match. Like, it's not like, see, this would have been pretty bad if, say, this century, like, say, I suppose if you did it calculus wise, a really calculated way of checking how quick you got there, I suppose maybe it must be 2 or 3 seconds difference, but generally they meet up at the same time, which means this tends to be more of the place where you'd fight each other. And that, because, yeah, I've been on both sides, I've managed to, like, for the most part, be the first on that, because I think people are generally slow, like, for the first minute or two they're not sure how to react, but later on they get an idea of it and they manage to adjust to their environments. But it's just really interesting to see such a thing like this, but magic of GT Online, especially like, this deathmatch, right? It was actually, this was something I created for the PS3 version, and I never actually expected it to be this popular, but yeah, this is, I think, the third most popular, next to Car Park Derby, and of course, why did I go behind it? Yeah, and of course, the FBI I-8 conflict, which to this day I'm still surprised at how it managed to get that. I mean, if I had to argue, I would say one of the very few perks that, no, I'm fucking say, one of the perks that are very few, not just like in any deathmatch, but I think just in general, is that you can actually potentially just sit idle. Like, you spawn like, well, this wasn't the case in the PS4 version, but back in the PS3, if you sat right in, say, the middle, and where you usually spawned, yeah, you could just practice sit there and do fuck all, and and oh no, wait, I'm getting mixed up, right? Yeah, because I mind one of the things I had to do was I had to put some spawn points at the back, and yeah, alright, yeah, basically, one thing I used to do was I used to, get started, like say, spend half a minute getting to the opposite side where people could not possibly hit me and just spend my time being inactive there. And you know what? I was fine with that. Like, I've seen maybe a few other people doing it during my times doing it, but generally, like, because of the fact I knew how good it was, it was actually really bloody effective. Now, what gets me curious though is, right, this is something I'll need to test out because I'm actually not entirely sure if I can play the PS3 version of that job on PS3. Like, it's the fact that it's PS4ified mean that I can no longer play its PS3 version? Because what it seems to me is that if you PS3 Deathmatch, you can play it both on the PS3 and the PS4, but as soon as you update it to a PS4 standard, you can no longer play it on the PS3. At least that's, well, to my understanding anyway. And I'm thinking if that's the case, I might actually be fucked for a bunch of death matches. Reason I say that is because, well, obviously all the interior sky maps will be fine, so that's kind of good. But with regards to like places you can actually stay idle, and I suppose the only way I can really replicate it is find some way of creating like a place where you can shoot each other, but at the same time remain relatively safe. And that. I have an idea about this, like, because... Oh, yeah, no, wait. This might actually still be possible in the PS3 version. Yeah, in case you're wondering, I got this inspiration from someone who managed to do like a rooftop kind of like battle, except it wasn't really rooftop in the general sense. It was like 2 bits to a, like, okay, this would never be possible without the floating props. So some guy managed to make this rooftop deathmatch where I was like, there'd be 2 sides like well shielded props against each other, but they can cross over to the other enemy side and wreak havoc there. Now you're wrong. Well, how are you going to do it without copying them for the most part? Like I've done with some interior deathmatches. Well, my answer to that is I actually remember there was this building that had 3 roofs and that. So my idea was that I could perhaps maybe like it would still be a deathmatch, you know, for 2 teams, but have the middle ground be like the place where you have all the interesting weapons and that, you know. And I think it's doable in the PS3 version. I see no reason why it shouldn't be and that, but obviously I'm thinking that won't really answer the whole idle thing, because for that to happen I would need to have like a place where even with explosives and that I would be able to just sit idle and not have to worry about getting killed and that, which the FIBIA conflict was the only one that was able to accomplish that. Like, I mean the only one. You know, no other deathmatch was able to do something like that. You know, but yeah. So I'm thinking if I can't do it on the PS3 version, I might have to actually create, like, not like a copy. I would say maybe try to be a bit more original. Try some in a similar predicament. I would say there's 2 rooftops that, well, when I say rooftops, I'm trying to think of ones like, you know, they can't be like too low because people would get the bomb and just screw things up. It can't be too uneven. When I say uneven, I'm talking about height-wise, in the sense that you can't have, say, a rooftop that's 800 feet and now that's only 400, because it means the people at 800 actually have an advantage because they'll be able to overlook the enemy team and just be able to shoot them easy, whereas the people at the bottom will have a really hard time. They won't see at the front side. So, you know, it's like, yeah, that would just be unbalanced in my opinion. Whereas with FIBIA conflict, both buildings were the exact same height, or near enough exact. And it actually felt a bit more fair in that regards. Now, maybe not 100% fair, but for the most part it was well balanced. And you know, and that's something that I generally try to keep by. You know, like, when I say balance, it's like, obviously when the ones where you can like easily make a huge difference, and I try and make it so that at least you have a chance to overcome them, like say in Urban Warfare with the 5 tanks, or Nevada Brawl with the 3 tanks, or 1 per sector sort of thing. So it's not completely unbalanced, except for Car Park Derby, but I'll get more on that later. But yeah, I would say that, yeah, Biohazard Outbreak is perhaps kind of a favourite of my own actually. Like, you know, I do genuinely like it, and it's something I find to be rather, like, it's actually quite hard to put into words, but honestly, this place here is just, oh my god, where do I even start? It's got so much to it, and especially because I mind this is just like an interior deathmatch. You know, this wasn't supposed to be like anything super fancy or that, but you know, it ended up kind of being like really popular, although not super popular. I mean, I still will never understand how there's people who've managed to get millions of plays. You know, maybe it's, but I imagine it's something to do with advertising. There's probably been people who've managed to advertise the deathmatch like really well, and you know, like, yeah, it's just, I imagine that's probably what's done the whole thing. Like, just people like saying, "Oh, this deathmatch is really cool, and I used to play it and such." You know, famous YouTubers doing it, and then hundreds, if not thousands, of people by the day, you know, play it, and you know, yeah, I can see that being a possibility. You know, it's not impossible, but yeah, regardless, it is rather surprising. And like, I think maybe at some point I might have got a minor mention, because I will still never be able to understand how I got from 1,500 to nearly 6,000 plays in just 3 months, that I will never be able to understand. I think part of it has to do either with this is the more reasonable speculation, is that either me constantly playing the damn deathmatch with Cassidy when I was trying to upgrade her, people started playing deathmatch as well, and like other people would host it as well, and that. Or some guy gave a mention it, which gave me maybe say a good, I don't know, 1,000 or 2 plays, which is still really impressive nonetheless. And but yeah, all to do with advertising. And honestly, I actually kind of wish to join GT Online simply so that I can kind of do my own advertising, and that, but oh well. Also, there's my guy in that classy Mafia suit and that, which came from the Valentine's update 2014. Fortunately, I'll never be able to get that suit again because I think it's a one-time exclusive sort of thing. But well, it kind of suited him more anyway. And if I ever make an African guy, I just don't think it would be the same. And that, but yeah, well. Right. So I'm thinking here. Right, for the next one, just try and think here. Yeah, you know what? I'll cover the IHQ Pandemonium. What was supposed at one point the most well-liked deathmatch I'd ever had, and like 9 likes to 1. It was pretty fucking impressive, and no joke. Like, it was really something different, and but now it fell down to just a mere 4.5 ratio. I'm not even that. I think it might be 4.3. But honestly, it's like something of a disappointment. Alright, get this. This isn't even the actual, I didn't realise this till back, say, earlier last month, but this isn't even the actual IHQ building. This is the FIB, which should be obvious considering the TVs, but, it kind of looks like it, because if you remember the IHQ building, it looks very similar, at least in the curvy sense, and that. But I think the problem was that there was actually a lack of depth to it. There wasn't really actually much to it. Whereas here you've got more depth, and you actually got an alternative route that you can get around, and that. So in a way, it has had a bit of its own strategy, and that, which is really something else. And that, but holy shit. Yeah, with this deathmatch, I'm just trying to remember when did I actually get into interior deathmatches in the first place. I'm honestly trying to recall here, and that, I think it would have had to have been definitely before July, or even June for that matter, because I think sometime in July, in that late July, I think that's when they did the fix. So really, from the day I started, I only had about, say, 7 months to do all the interior matches I could. And yeah, I took good advantage of that, because I figured at some point they're going to fix it, and I'd rather get as much as I could within genuine interest. Because obviously, there was probably a good few interior maps I could have done, but I like to try the bigger ones, and that. Because I think the problem was that with the smaller ones, you'd be lucky if you can get 4 people on it. Let alone beyond that. I'm talking about the really small ones, like say Trevor's Shack or Leicester's Home or something like that. You would be lucky if you even got 2 or 3, let alone 4. Just down and beyond that. Yeah, I think that's kind of an issue that I came across with, what was it again? Yeah, that was it, yeah. See, when I was doing the 3 character death matches, they had this thing, I tried to do a death match, based on their own home. So for Michael, it would be his mansion, for Franklin, it would be his new, kind of like a penthouse and that he gets later on, and for Trevor, well, since his shack's too small, I decided to do it based on his new home that he gets later on. That would be the strip clubs. It kind of makes sense, I guess. But yeah, that was well done as well. And I think with Michael you couldn't escape that at all, and Franklin, for the most part you couldn't escape, although I did discover, you'll probably see it later on with that show footage and that, that did actually have a glitch where I was able to get out the windows, and yeah, it was a bit weird, but more on that later. But yeah, I think overall it was pretty damn impressive what I managed to do. Between I'm gonna assume it was like not amongst the first death matches I did, but somewhere around early March to mid-July, I'd say, when I was actively creating tier death matches. I'm just trying to remember here, yeah, let me think here. Oh yeah, yeah. One of the last things I remember actually doing was I tried to create this capture mode, and because yeah, it did actually exist, and for a little while you were able to do capture death matches, inside the Ethereum apps. That was a thing, and honestly, I would have fucking loved to have completed that project, but alas, I never did. And I think honestly, what annoys me with capture mode is actually you can't put a player limit. Honestly, that really detracts. That really detracts from the whole thing. But yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah, well, yeah, it's funny because I think I'm just trying to remember how many different I do on FB. Obviously there's a big one, the conflict, and that was pretty damn popular. But yeah, not only that, but there was also the 3 interiors that I did. Yeah, there was actually 3, if you could believe it. There was a espionage, which was the lower floors of the building. Then there was a meltdown, that was the upper floors. And then there was this secluded curvy spot, and which I think is not as high, if I recall correctly, because I've never actually been to this place before. I thought I did. I thought this was the actual part pandemonium, the building. But I actually no, this is actually something you can only encounter if you do the more what's the word? The more secretive version, because that's the chopper's the obvious one, but doing the fireman route is actually the less obvious one. So yeah, it's a bit surprising, but oh well. Yeah, I'm just realising that I thought having to do this place campaign 2 more times, one for the PS3 version, one for the PS4. And, oh god. Let's just say it's not going to be very fun. I don't know, what I'm planning to do right now is because I don't want to, I think what worries me, because right now my other account's actually banned for a month, is I worry that if that's permanent banned, then whatever trophies I get is going to be pointless. And completely pointless. And that's a little bit worrying. And so yeah, just have to hold out on that, But yeah, IHQ Pandemonium, and it's actually quite a bit of fun you can get into it, and it says it's general chaos. And yeah, I mind this is a 14 deathmatch. It used to be 12 until I managed to find a couple of spots in the bathroom and that. So that wasn't too bad. But obviously there was a bit of room for more if I could find it. But you see that little bank room there? And I think I've only managed to see it open once. Yeah, just once. And another time I managed to find there was this room to that meeting room, see the big room at the back between the hallway and that, you can actually open the door to that. Problem is, if you go in there, you'll just fall to your fucking death because there's no actual ground in there. And it's the same with the police because I've seen maybe 3 or 4 times that there's one cell in that you can get access to if you spawn inside it. You can actually get the door open, but it takes quite a bit of effort. And I've seen other doors open that I think you'll probably have to see it to know what I'm talking about. But yeah, some doors can be rather finicky. Locked doors that are supposedly locked, actually can be unlocked with some physical persuasion, let's just say. And yeah, you can tell my team's doing utter shit. And see, this is another thing that I like to rant about. Oh, okay, I say loosely, but it's more like I have a lot to say about it. But honestly, see, what annoys me is when I get put in an incompetent team and I'm up against people who are actually pretty damn good, and I think to myself, why can't I be on their team? And why did I have to put? For me, the only good, team member to be like fucking in a team of incompetent fools, you know, and it's like, oh jeez, it's just, honestly, it's really bloody frustrating, you know. Not that can't be overcome, but honestly, it's just so bloody annoying. Also, if you haven't noticed, actually, yeah, something that's probably, you've probably seen is that shotguns are generally not effective. Like, yeah, unless it's an assault shotgun, which in that case it might be good, but yeah, like honestly, it seems to be in first person mode. One of the few weapons you do not want to use is a shotgun. Simply because it seems to be that I seem to mostly get one or two or three shots on that. You know, which is what the assault shotgun should be. Like, if it was 3 or 4 shots, I can understand if it was an assault shotgun. But when you're talking about a fucking sawn-off shotgun, which should, that's one of the highest like damage rates next to say the heavy sniper and the what's the other one? Yeah, the RPG. Yeah, it's a bit of a problem, and you know, like, it just does my fucking nine. You know, but well, yeah, I would say overall in conclusion to this, yeah, like I said, there's obviously a bunch more interiors I'll show off, and at least another 2 on that, because there's other favourites, like, you know, I would say Ocean's 11, that was pretty decent, and as well as the 3 character ones, so I'll probably do those at some point. But yeah, that'll have to be for another time, and you know, because it's just like so much to do, and you know, but well, another failed deathmatch. Like honestly, if you've looked back so far, I think I've only maybe passed like say twice, and once surface tension and another in the Hunger Games, and that's it. And the other times I've fucking lost, which is usually not the case, because honestly my win-loss ratio is like 2-1, but yeah, well, next time I'll probably covering some other formats, maybe more tier death matches, maybe not, but I'll probably be like the open ones again, but well, till then folks.